if you've doom scrolled to this, welcome back, but sorry, Jack. Sappy's back. It's alright. I was a poetester in my other life. It wasn't good then, it isn't good today. But I'm going to take you on yet another journey. It's not going to be the journey through the tarot this time. However, we're just going to go through sitcoms, movies, soundtracks, and albums. In no particular order. We're just going to have some fun and talk about some pieces of art that I think you should check out. It's not limited to anything. It's not unlimited to anything. So please join us in the following days, weeks, months, years. It's okay. It's just social media after all. But thank you, and I'll see you soon. Today we're going to talk about a sitcom, one of Sappy's favorite sitcoms. It's Garry Shandling's show, which ran from 1986 to 1990. Stars Garry Shandling, the comedian who would kind of, always have kind of a squint like this, and, he went from The Tonight Show to this, and he eventually became Larry Sanders. A lot of you may know him as that guy from Iron Man 2 and Hail Hydra in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. However, this was his first television show. It's a wonderful, wonderful piece of entertainment, and it's very meta. Meta to the point that the audience is a character in the show. I highly recommend it. First season is available for purchase on websites. However, the complete series is long out of print. Highly recommend to watch this if you can. I think it will be very well worth your time. Like, share, follow, subscribe, Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite albums to listen to and reflect, read, or just chill. Ambient One, Music for Airports by Brian Eno. Fantastic album. Just such a good vibe. And before you ask, yes, this was used at LAX, an actual airport. Try sitting down, reading, or reflecting with this album. I highly recommend it. And if you're really into this album, I check out Ambience 2, 3, and 4. They're all pretty darn good. Like, share, you know what to do. This ain't your first rodeo. Today we'll be talking about one of Sappy's favorite soundtracks, a tribute to Jack Johnson. Yes, Miles Davis does a soundtrack album yet again, and this time it's just incredible. You just get two sides, and it's the most jazzy rock album you might ever hear in your entire life. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. What would be even better if I could find the film to actually watch with the music, but I'm not sure how to actually find it. But this is a wonderful album, and if you're not into Miles Davis, or if you know Miles Davis only from Kinda Blue, definitely would check this one out. It will expand your horizons and see why Miles Davis was never satisfied. You had to keep pushing forward in every way possible. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, maybe even come back tomorrow. Maybe, Today we're going to talk about a movie. Yes, it's been a while since I've talked about one, but we're going to go back with Brian De Palma, because I always go back to Brian De Palma. We're going to go with Snake Eyes from 1998. It's a wonderful film that pretty much gives you Brian De Palma's Rashomon. So, a lot of people like, so the Hitchcock rip-off artist is going to take off Kurosawa. Wow. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's not perfect. It's flawed in a lot of ways, but at the same time, its execution is quite enjoyable. You see De Palma pull out a lot of his tricks and references to some of his earliest movies. Get to Know Your Rabbit. Real De Palma fans know about that one. It's incredible, and it has that confined space, in Atlantic City, during a hurricane, and a boxing arena full of people. I think you should check this one out. And a very good pairing with this movie would be The Setup from 1949. Today we're going to talk about another one of Sappy's favorite soundtracks. It's Paradise Alley. Yep. Why is it great? Because you got Sylvester Stallone singing, we got Frank Stallone, and we got Tom Waits. All on the same album. It's not quite Rocky. It's Rocky but wrestling, but not really. Very entertaining movie. Not the greatest, but the soundtrack is truly remarkable. I really do enjoy Sylvester's performance of Too Close to Paradise. It is very, very enjoyable. And if you think I'm kidding, I actually do like this song. Highly recommend you play it for somebody and be like, yeah, Sly can sing too. He just never decided to sing again after this for some reason, but very underrated album. Too Close to Paradise. So good. Today we'll be talking about another one of my favorite films from the avant-garde, Curiosities. For all those that want to know artsy, non-narrative films, you really want to start with this one. It's a fantastic montage of time-lapsed moments. The film is literally life out of balance. The grid and the rest of the soundtrack by Philip Glass is one of my favorite things to listen to. This is a movie that you can watch at any time, but it requires a little bit of patience. There were 2 further sequels making a trilogy made by Godfrey in this types of films. This one being Curiosities is my favorite of the 3, of course, but the other 2 are very well worth your time and show a progression of sorts, as you will. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow, comment, maybe. Let's try to be nice. Let's try. You can try. Please. Today we'll be looking at the soundtrack for the film Hearts of Fire from 1987, which is pretty much Purple Rain with Bob Dylan, but not nearly as good. And I mean not nearly as good. If you've never heard of this film, that might be the reason, because you are not a Bob Dylan fan. It has a lot of memeable things. Want some eggs? Or, of course, his very famous punch. You doing good, boss. But the album does feature a few unique Bob Dylan tracks, as well as a very interesting cover of Tainted Love. May not be the world's best album or memorable, but dust it off, look for it, and then see the movie and be like, interesting. A movie that really thought it could be all that, but just wound up not being it. Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about English Garden by Bruce Woodley and the Camera Club. Remember that 3rd member of the Buggles? Of course you don't. This is the album with the original release of Video Killed the Radio Star. Beat his fellow writing partners, Trevor Horn, and Jeff Dowes. Bruce Woodley was the original 3rd member of the Buggles. However, they both split up, and both this album and The Age of Plastic share 2 songs, one of which being Video Killed the Radio Star. I prefer this version. It's a lot more fun, a lot more down and dirty, and Thomas Dolby on keyboards. What more could you ask? But thanks for staying tuned. I'll see you next time. Comment below if you're a Bruce Woodley fan, or maybe just a Camera Club fan. You're not. I'm just talking here. We're just vibing. Just vibing. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite sitcoms, Soap, which only ran 4 seasons and is a perfect example of the show getting canceled due to having any sponsors. The show offended everybody who is anybody that pretty much existed in the 1970s. It's funny, it's a parody of a soap opera, and they really don't hold back. We have Billy Crystal in the show, and then we have the spin-off, Benson, becoming more popular than the original show. And I say popular, I say it lasted longer. Doesn't mean it's more popular. But once Benson left, the show kind of fell apart. Wonderful show, and if you've seen Chuck and Bob from That 70s Show, you definitely want to see him here. There's just so many different laughs and some of the best comedy talent of its time. Great writing. However, the show would end. It would give rise to another Susan Harris show, The Golden Girls. Thanks for tuning in. Something else. Today we'll be talking about one of Sappy's sitcoms that, really didn't last that long, and it went downhill rather quickly. This is The John Larroquette Show. Right after a successful run on Night Court as Dan Fielding, a record-breaking amount of times winning an Emmy, he decided to do something a bit different. And John Hemingway, a recovering alcoholic, would now become a manager at a bus station overnight. This was kind of sitcom noir and dealt with some really challenging issues. It is pretty dated in its political views. However, it is very well worth your time. Just check it out to see some of the angst and some true comedy. John Larroquette was trying to do something different here, And unfortunately, they kept cleaning the show up, little changes, and then they kind of just gotten rid of what really made the show special. Thank you so much for making it to the end, you know. Today we'll be talking about These Foolish Things by Roxy Music lead singer Bryan Ferry, his first solo album. As you can see, he's dressed completely different for this. An album mostly of covers, including some of my favorite. We have a Bob Dylan cover starting us off, and we also have It's My Party and I'll Cry If I Want To, Cry If I Want To, and of course we have a wonderful cover of Don't Worry Baby, one of my favorite Bryan Ferry versions. One of my favorite Bryan Ferry lead vocals on a track. Wonderful album, and just goes to show you, you can always try something a little bit different. Check this one out. It's a very good album. Let me know if you've listened to it in the comments. What's your favorite track? Is this even worth your time? You can be honest. Don't be mean, but you can be honest. It's currently having... Today we'll be looking at The Player from 1992, a wonderful satire about Hollywood. This movie is everything that people expected The Bonfire of the Vanities to be, but was not. An incredible cast, and Tim Robbins gives a wonderful performance. We also have Vincent D'Onofrio, and a whole heck of a lot of cameos. Very, very brutal look at how fake Hollywood could be sometimes. I'm sorry, all the time. But it's a very unforgettable movie. I highly recommend you watch it. It may not be exactly what you expect. Thank you so much for making it. You know, like, share, subscribe. Have you seen the movie? Comment! You know. Today we're going to be talking about a thriller, drama, courtroom movie. Yes, it is 1990's Presumed Innocence. We have Harrison Ford and one of my all-time favorite actors, Raul Julia. Just any movie this guy is, even if it's in a bad movie, it's still gonna be good. You think One for the Heart was bad? What is that movie? You've probably never seen it, but he was fantastic in it. This film is very well written, extremely well acted, and that ending was a lot better than this ending. I'm sorry. Today, we're going to be talking about a soundtrack, or should I say soundtracks, to the 1989 film Batman. We have the soundtrack album by Prince, which is a few songs from the movie, as well as some tracks from Prince's vault at the time. Still a good album, still love it. Bat Dance, anyone? And then, of course, we have Danny Elfman's motion picture score, which is very fun. We have the main Batman theme, and of course, we have that end, the finale, that would go on to be played everywhere. Which one of these is better? Neither. They're both working together to bring a wonderful movie. But Prince and Batman. Now that is where it gets interesting. Check out the music videos for Bat Dance, as well as Party Man. And Prince even makes some characters. He has Party Man and a unique character, Gemini. That's Gemini. Today we'll be talking about Boots from Nancy Sinatra. Yes, we all know that one song, These Boots Were Made for Walking. But do we know that she also had a Beatles cover and a Bob Dylan cover? And they're both freaking awesome. She plays Day Tripper, and she also plays one of my favorite versions, It Ain't Me, Babe. Whoa, 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 it ain't me. Beautiful. Nancy Sinatra could cover anybody. Check this album out. It's a lot of fun. Lots. I got clumps on, so I have to take them off every single time. Today we'll be talking about One More Tomorrow by Unicorn. Not to be confused with the Unicorns. This is Unicorn, a 70s band. Kind of that southern rock. They have a few good covers on this album. I like their version of Slow Dancing, Have You Ever Seen It Rain? And of course, One More Tomorrow. It's a lot of fun, and I've always liked the album cover. It's just interesting. She's just, tell me about you. Don't worry about that in the background. Tell me about you. Anyway, if you want more content like this with albums, movies, music, and sometimes even tarot, you'll want to follow me, the Sappy Sorcerer. This is a pitch. I've given up. Not even a freaking thing. Not even a review show. We're just going to go somewhere different. It's become a dance-a-thon. That's right, a dance-a-thon. I'm just trying to make it to a minute so I can, you know, have those ads. Like, share, yeah.